You can't say I didn't tell you so. You can't say that I didn't tell you. This is the current P&L on my account that I started 10 months ago. Okay, so $350,000 deposit, and currently the account sits in $1.1 million. So roughly triple this account over the past 10 months. And there was a Euro USD trade that went into a lot of profit. So I'm going to discuss all this right here. I'm going to discuss the current trade we're in, Euro USD, a trade that we closed early yesterday for a loss before the stop loss, and then a third trade that I'm actually looking at going into. We're on Friday, so probably next week, Sunday or Monday. Let's get right into it. All right, so Euro USD, we're in this trade right now. And yesterday on my YouTube video, I told you guys that I'm selling Euro USD. I think price is going to have a nice little pull to the downside. My first entry did not work out. I closed it in a small loss. I think it was $20,000 loss. But as we push deeper up here into this little weekly resistance zone, I ended up getting short again, just with a wider stop loss and a different risk structure. So called this trade out live and also posted the analysis here in Telegram. I'll put a link in the description of the pinned comment for the Telegram channel. It's just a free Telegram where I share all my trades live. So that's that. So for Euro USD, what currently happened is overnight, price started to bounce and we started to go to the downside. So whenever I woke up this morning, this is exactly what it looked like. This was the entry here. Price has started to fall and it fell a little more than halfway to the profit target. And currently, as I'm making this video, it's in about $60,000 of profit. I think it's pulled back a little bit, so it might be in like $45,000, $50,000 of profit, but it's still sitting in a lot of profit, about halfway to the target. The account's at 1.134 million. So that's pretty cool. I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens with that. And as of right now, I'm going to be doing nothing. I'll probably be holding this over the weekend if it doesn't continue aggressively towards the profit target. Now, if by the end of the day, we're in like $80,000 of profit, and I think the target's at like 110,000 or something like that, I'll probably just close it there and just call it a day. All right. Then we can avoid swap fees. We can avoid gaps over the weekend. We can avoid just the holding time, and we can just call this a good trade. But unless it's more than like, if it's like 80% of the way the target, I'll close it, but if it's less than that, I'll probably just hold it over the weekend. I've got no problem with that. I still think this has a lot more downside potential. So that's Euro USD, and we just sold at the weekly resistance zone. Pretty nice and easy. Now, a trade yesterday that we closed early was GBP Canadian dollar. So here in my Discord server yesterday at 11 a.m., I posted this in here. It was GBP Canadian dollar. We had sold here at this resistance zone. Price started to go above. I even added as it went deeper into the resistance zone as a final low risk position. Adding an additional, I believe, like $25,000 risk. So what happened is she broke above the zone, and I put GBP CAD broke above the zone. So I'm closing here before the stop loss, and I remain in Euro USD. So, you know, and this was the Euro USD trade that I was in, and I had added to this yesterday as well. So yeah, it was looking really nice. So what ended up happening with GBP Canadian dollar is this was the zone that I was referencing initially. It was this up here. What I had to do is, based on the weekly chart and based on the price, that price broke above these little weekly highs right here. I had to adjust the zone in such a way that it accounts for the context. So in this case, I simply just took the zone, which was up here, and I dragged it down a little bit to show that this is where these two weekly candle wicks were bouncing here at the zone. So now I basically just think it's more likely to go up. So I got out of that trade. I ended up being right about that direction because yesterday, like, we closed on this daily candle as it was going up. It ended up going higher, then it pulled back today, and now we're going up even higher. So this actually would have been a stop out or getting close to being a stop out, but instead of us taking a stop loss, it was a partial loss, right? So it is what it is. That's GBP CAD. So that was a loss yesterday. I think it was like 45 or 50,000 bucks, and I currently sit just in the partial profits on Euro USD is more than that. Now, the third and final trading opportunity is USD CHF. So I did something similar to GBP CAD. The zone that I was referencing initially, it was a little bit higher up here. And what I was sort of thinking is that we were going to fall back below this zone and then pull back up and retest and start to drop. The only issue is I'm looking at these two candles right here on the daily, how price came really deep, and now we had this quick like rebound up to the upside. When I go to the weekly chart, if I'm just being honest based on my experience, this looks a little bit more clear. It looks like we have, you know, resistance, we have support twice here, resistance over and over. We had price try to fall as resistance here, but then we actually broke above, closed above the zone on the weekly, came all the way back this week, tested the zone, and now we're having a little bullish wick. If this wick holds for any amount of time up until now to the end of the trading day, which is maybe like 6 hours away, we're going to close this week on this weekly candle with a bullish wick. And that basically just tells me that it's a little bit more likely we're going to have some bullish pressure and continue the upside. So I have shifted my analysis on this, and I actually think USD CHF is a little more likely to go up. So I'll be looking to buy not today, but perhaps maybe next week. We're going to see how the candlesticks close here. If it closes anywhere here around the current market price, that'll be great for buys next week. If we pull back in here a little deeper to the zone, honestly, it still wouldn't be that bad because the risk structure would be nice. We could enter right here at the zone, around the lows of the zone or the support zone on the weekly, and then a stop. You know, we could have it like really far down here, right? But we could probably get out if it starts breaking the lows and just take a tiny loss, maybe like a third of the way to the stop loss. If we enter here, I'll probably have a similar stop loss, right? Something like down here. And the profit target is not really even that far. Like the profit target would just have to be perhaps just not even to the previous high, something like that for a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. Which is perfectly doable, right? That was just, it was a couple days of price action. We had literally in less than 2 days, price had covered that distance. So to go back to the upside, I think this would be perfectly fine for a profit target. So I'm going to be looking to buy your USD CHF going into next week, provided the context remains the same. So it was another good trading week. It is a net profitable trading week. Everything is going really, really nice and sexy. We're going to see where Euro USD ends up going. She could come all the way back to the entry. She could go into drawdown. She could result in a loss, or she could have a tug back into profit, into more profit and go down to like $80,000 to $100,000 of profit. So we're going to see where she goes, and we're going to see what the management decision is based on, you know, the context and the price action that develops the rest of the trading day today, and then going into next week. I'll continue to post all the updates in Telegram. I really appreciate you guys, all the support on the last video. It's really cool to see so many of you guys, like some of you are saying you're making ridiculous amounts of money just following my trades, like in Discord and in Telegram. It's absolutely nuts. Like I never would have dreamed that, you know, 10 years ago when I got into trading, I'd be at a position now where thousands of people are just following my trades and just making stupid amounts of money. It feels so amazing. So I'm really happy to do this. I'm happy that I post everything live, time-stamped. That way you guys can see every single thing, all the trading history, all the P&L, every single trade on this trading account for the past 10 months since I started this challenge, saying I was going to get 350K to 1 million, right? So about 10 months later, it came true, and every single trade is documented live, time-stamped here in my Discord server. Every single thing, like every transaction, every individual trade is accounted for with the explanations, the risk structure. It's all here. So if you ever join the Discord, you can scroll all the way back and you can see when this account was started, and you can see all the ups and downs and the swings. So it makes me so happy to be able to do this and be able to show you guys all the ins and outs in real time. It's a lot of fun, and it's really cool to see y'all's results. So with that said, that's all I'm looking for. Buys on USD CHF next week. GBP Canadian dollar. If we can come back here in this zone, I might buy. If not, I'll just let her go to the upside. And Euro USD, I'm holding. She looks great on the weekly. I could see a little more upside come to up here and then potentially have a drop there. However, I do still think that Euro USD is great for sells. We have a really nice clear support resistance zone here on the weekly. Price bounce has resistance, broke above, tested as support, had a little bit of a dip below, a little bit of a leakage there, but still bounced as support. Now we've come below the zone, closed, held below the zone for like a month, and now we're back up here testing the zone. I think it's natural we're going to get a little bit of a sell-off, but time will tell. I love you all. Happy trading. I'll see you in my Telegram channel, link below, and I'll put it in the pinned comment as well so you can check it out. It's free. I've run it for the past 8 years. It's just where I share all my trades and analysis and recaps and outlooks and insights and everything, and I do it live. Cheers. See ya.